hybrid format pursuant to the House Order of June 23, 2022. Members are attending in person in the room and remotely using the Zoom application. I'd like to make a few comments for the benefits of the witnesses and the members. Please wait until I recognize you by name before speaking. For those participating by video conference, click on the microphone icon to activate your mic, and please mute yourself when you're not speaking. Interpretation for those on Zoom, you have the choice at the bottom of your screen of either floor, English, or French. For those in the room, you can use the earpiece and select the desired channel. A reminder that all comments should be addressed through the chair. For members in the room, if you wish to speak, please raise your hand. For members on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. The clerk and I will manage the speaking order as best we can, and we appreciate your patience and an understanding in this regard. To help us with the clause-by-clause consideration of Bill C-241, I'd now like to welcome our witnesses. And we have from the Department of Finance, we have Lindsay Geyer, who is Director General, Legislative Tax Legislation Division, Tax Policy Branch. And also with Lindsay is Mark Maxison, who's the Director of Employment and Education, Personal Income Tax Division, Tax Policy Branch. And just to inform all members that the witnesses have been tested for today's meeting and the tests have passed for their mics, their sound system. Yeah. So, and we are now going to move into the bill. And so the chair calls Clause 1. Clause 1. Okay. So shall Clause 1 carry? Yes. I see a hand up. MP Chatel.
Before we go to the clause by clause, I would like to make a statement on this bill. First of all, I want to start off by saying that the principle of this legislation is a good one, and that's why we introduced the labor mobility deduction. I think that was something that we all favor and we all look forward to help and improve the life of workers. And I think that if there's a value that we share in this committee is this one.
That being said, there are some faults in the legislation being proposed. One thing that I'm concerned about is potential abuse. Now, this is a tax law, and tax law has to have integrity, has to be consistent. And so it's the taxpayers that depend on this law. There has to be integrity and consistency so that certain people, ill-intentioned people, are not able to take advantage of this legislation. And therefore, that's what I'm concerned about. And that's why I actually will vote against this bill. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Chatel.
Yep.
Oui, mais merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to make a few comments as well with respect to Bill C-241. The Bloc Québécois supports Bill C-241. We have already stated this. We said it from the beginning. We think it's a good bill. However, there was some uncertainty surrounding this bill, and I'd like to thank Finance Canada for having provided a response regarding those points. Finance Canada provided answers to the concerns that were raised, for example, with respect to the definitions and interpretation that the Canada Revenue Agency might provide regarding some of the terms. Now, what I like about work in committee, Mr. Chair, is this. We had a second reading on the principle of the bill, but in committee, we can work together to improve a bill. So if there's any lack of clarity, if there are any vacuums, then together we can work together. We can bring forward amendments to improve the bill. Now, if my memory serves me well, I had encouraged the government side to go through that exercise, because since 2019, whenever there's a bill a private member's bill from the opposition side, the government doesn't have the reflex of saying, well, perhaps this might be possible, perhaps we can do this. One only has to think about the legislation on the transfer of family businesses, because there are businesses that families want to keep in the family, and yet they can be penalized. So the government hadn't gone through that exercise. We wanted something. They said that there would be legislation that would cover this, but 2.5 years later, that legislation hasn't happened. Now, in Finance Canada's response, there is quite a bit of information that could have been used as amendments if the government had wanted to be able to avoid certain kinds of abuse, but that was not done. And from what I understand, the departments and the Canada Revenue Agency have the flexibility to be able to interpret certain terms. So my conclusion is that this is adequate. I would like to remind the members, though, that it's in all of our interests to bring forward amendments so that we can improve bills. On my part, from what I understand, the department and the Canada Revenue Agency will be able to provide interpretations and definitions, whether it's through regulations or otherwise. And so on the Bloc Québécois side, we will continue to support this bill, and I would like to thank Finance Canada for having come forward to provide more clarity to some of the components of this bill. Thank you very much.
MP,
thank you very much.
Looking at the room, if there's any further discussion. No? Oh, wait. Okay. MP Lewis.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll be incredibly brief. I'll turn it back on. Thank you, Mr. Steinley. I'll be incredibly brief. I just want to first and foremost say thank you to each and every person outside of these chambers this evening that have both union and non-unionized folks that, well over a year that have brought so many suggestions, so many opportunities to discuss exactly what's needed on the ground for Canadians from coast to coast to coast, to enforce, not only enforce, but to enhance our skilled trades across the country. And so, I guess it's about as simple as this. Bill C-241 is a very, very simple bill. It's black and it's white. It will help build our country. For those that support, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of skilled trades. Those that are on the fence, perhaps, that maybe think some wording should be perhaps amended, let's pass this today. Let's get this done. Let's get it back to the House to get it voted as quickly as possible so that we can build the proper infrastructure for Canada, exactly why C-241 is so important. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you, MP Lewis. Members, any further discussion? No. So we are going to shall Clause 1 carry? Yes. I hear no's.
Recorded vote.
On division.
A recorded vote, clerk.
Mr. Ricker?
No.
Mr. Beach?
No.
Madame Châtel?
No.
Mr. Chiang?
No.
Mr. MacDonald?
No.
Mr. Hallen?
Yes.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Morans?
Yes.
Monsieur Sainte-Marie?
En faveur.
In support.
Qui?
Yes.
Six yeas, 5 nays.
Okay, carried. So now, members, shall the title carry?
Avec dissidence.
On division.
Division? Okay, shall the bill carry?
On division.
On division. Shall the chair report the bill to the House? Okay. On division. And clerk, shall the committee order a reprint of the bill as amended for the use of the House at report stage? That's not necessary? No? Okay. That is not necessary. So it is passed. Thank you, members. Yes. Congratulations, MP Lewis. Okay. So members, very quick. I don't know if it was a record. I hear a record is 17 seconds. I heard once. So I don't think we're at record, but we're close. We're close. Yeah. And that is that's what we have on our agenda for today. So just in our next meeting on Wednesday will be fiscal federalism, MP Blakey, and then we're done for the day. Shall we adjourn? Adjourn.